Hello, good afternoon, everyone. So, for this topic, we're going to talk briefly and we'll show a few examples about chart of accounts and service delivery in East Timor. So, for this content, there are three parts. So, the first part is regarding to chart of account service delivery. The second part is about the components, and the last part is regarding the obstacle, changes to charts of accounts, and how it affects the financial services in East Timor and the planning for future COA. So firstly, let's go to the service delivery part. The chart of account that's used in East Timor is from planning, budgeting, and execution process. So as we know, we don't have a separate code for budgeting and execution. All the codes are the same from planning, initial planning, until the execution process. So it's not difficult for officials to use the codes for planning purposes until reporting purposes. In the planning part, so initially the government put a budget, determine the amount, and that amount is based on analysis such as financial analysis, macro analysis, or annual reports. And it will be given to the entities for planning. So, for example, if a ministry has like 3 general directorate and he gets a budget of 1 million, he's going to give, he has only the limit budget of 1 million. He cannot exceed it in his planning. And his general directorate generals are going to share that million budget from each other. And during that planning, they have to plan according to the fund, the division for the entity, the program, and the objective, such as the expense or revenue that's going to be performed in the next year's budget, as well as the location. Since East Timor is very small, we are possible to include the location code in our planning and execution process in our chart of account. And planning strategy ensures that entity's budget is according to the existing chart of account. So we don't go over the existing chart of account. We don't include new information apart from the one that's already planned. Since we don't have accounting standard, we are still, we have our own budget framework for general state budget and public financial management. So it regulates how entities plan their budget, execute their budget, as well as the reporting standard or an accounting standard required by the law for all the entities. And as stated, the budget execution can't be done without the approval from legislatives. So after planning is done, we have to submit to Parliament for debate and for approval. In the budgeting purpose, usually it's to control the execution process. So when we do our planning based on chart of account, all payments that are committed cannot exceed the allocated amount. So if we put an amount for local travel, for instance, 5,000, we cannot allow to exceed the payment over that amount. It must be below it. If we want to exceed that amount, it's possible through budget alteration, but we cannot alter budget from salaries and wages, as well as from capital development. Otherwise, it's like infrastructure cost. Other categories can be altered, such as from public transfers, minor capital, as well as goods and service. So for minor capital, usually for plants and equipments, but not property. And for reporting purpose, all the information can be accessed from financial system based on the chart of accounts code. We're going to have a look at the codes and a few examples of the reporting. As long as the code is allocated through budget, through planning, it's allocated and it's used or active during the execution process, we can access the report. So the types of reports include the budget execution report, there's the accounting reports, so there's the ledgers, trial balance, advance reports, there's the budget performance report, and there's the transparency reporting for transparency purposes. So all of these are linked to the chart of account. So if you want to access it, you have to know which type of codes to use to access this information. As for example, for budget execution report, as we see here, this is an example from an autonomous agency that we have. So from the original budget, they've allocated the amount, and that amount is to the fund source, for example, 2001. And then we have the division code. So there's the 10500101. And then the activity, 51002002 for financial management, administration, and logistics. So in that activity, it segregates the objective code, so the expenses and revenues to be used in that particular activity by that particular entity. As well, and another example in the accounting report, here is an example for a ledger. I think for the chart of account to work in this part, we have a string of codes, as you see below there. That codes, coding blocks, it's very important and used, especially by officials, if you want to do budget alteration in system, or if you want to do the journal for accounting adjustment in system, we have to know that string of codes or coding blocks below. For example, 0110/016 until 099. So it's very straightforward, not too complicated, as long as we put it all together. And as explained, for transparency purposes, we have a report that can be accessed publicly by the people. Since we do the planning, it's approved by Parliament, everyone knows how much the government is going to spend in the next year or this year. And for them to accompany how the progress is going, we share information. This one is a Timor-Leste budget transparency portal. So we share it to the public through website, and people can access it based on the fund, for example, the entity, the ministry, the directorate that's using the fund or spending the fund, based on program. This example here is based on the objective or the expending. So there's the budget, the commitment, the obligation, the real amount executed, the balance of budget, and the execution. There's how to say it? Difficulty part is that our law is all made in Portuguese. Our financial reporting made in Portuguese. Our system is in English, and when we work, we explain to each other in our own language. So it's like, apart from work in finance, we are like good translator as well. So we have to identify which language to use and which language to analyze. So here is all in Portuguese and Tetum. So this one is for public. And so let's go to the components as mentioned earlier. Our chart of account, we don't divide it to budgeting and to expense or actual. We only use one code for everything. So there's the fund source. So it represents an entity. And that code is unique to each entity. So in East Timor, there are around 33 land ministries, each with a different fund source code, 13 municipalities, each different code, 56 autonomous agencies, 4 special funds, and 1 autonomous region. So fund source, that code represents each public entity. And then there's the organization. So it represents the organic structure or division of an entity based such as national directorate or general directorate. So going further, there's a program. There's 3 subdivisions for programs. So there's the programs, sub-programs, and activities. And these programs are to obtain necessary goals based on a national development plan, and it's aligned with UN strategic goals or something. And we have the objective codes, so that one refers to categories, line items such as asset, liability, equity, expense, and revenue. And finally, the location. Since we have only 13 municipalities and 1 autonomous region, everything is easy to put into their own location. It's not difficult. Let's see an example here. So on the top there, the fund source, there's the first one is for treasury, and the second one is for example of municipality. Only 4 codes, nothing more. Every entity is the same, only 4 codes representing their fund source. Second, we have the division code. So that's for the ministry, directorate, and division. So this one is, so an example is municipality of Baucau. Since it's a municipality, there's around 7 directorate and division, but I've only shown 3 examples here. So there's municipality of Baucau, but they have like finance service, there's a health municipal service, and education municipal service. So it's divided. Each entity is responsible for their own planning and their own execution. And then we have the program, sub-program, and activity. So program is for like 30-year planning. Sub-program usually medium term, program for long term. Sub-program usually 5 years, and activity is action done by each entity to obtain a specific goal. So for example, we have decentralization, local authority, the sub-program is local development, and activity is the village administration support. So everything is divided. And then there's the objective code and the classification and category. So for objective code, usually for one, the code is represented in 7 digits. So 1 usually for asset, 2 for liabilities, 3 for equity, 4 for revenue, and 5 for expenses. That's only straightforward. And for asset like cash and fixed asset, so for then we can add like 101 for cash, 102 for asset. If you want to go to the item, we can include more inside, and to the line item, more detail, we can include more digits inside, but it can only reach 7 digits, nothing more. And village code, so there's a district, sub-district, and villages. So for all municipalities, they have their own code, but for line ministries, since they work for all municipality, they use the national region code, since they're going every place, not only in one place. And this goes, we put together, we divide it by the slash, we have the coding block that's used in the system. So on system, it recognizes only coding blocks, but for us, we have to know these classification types. And the obstacles so far, there's a few. The chart of account design is used for cash-basis accounting practice, as mentioned earlier. We don't have a accounting standard. We are on the way. We're using full cash-basis accounting practice, IPSAS. And it has changed over the years due to PFM reforms, and those changes cause the data for us to compare and verify. So for historical data, it's difficult for us to map, so we have to look detail, spend more time, and it's very challenging for us. So as changes, we see part of the obstacle. So the first chart of account created was in 2009, and used until 2022. And through law number 19/2022, budget classifiers, the chart of account was changed again in 2023. However, it was then changed again due to PFM reforms and political decisions. Through law number 2/2024, it changed again. So in the table below, we only see the line item for expenses. So for example, in categories for salary and wages, previously, from 2009 to 2022, the category code is 600. For salary wages, goods service 700, public transfer 710, 725, minor capital 800, capital development 900. But in 2023, it changed again to salary E10, goods service E20, public transfer E10, E15. Public transfer, there are two types of transfers. So that's one is for subsidies in government, and the other one, current transfer. The other one is capital transfer. So it's separated from 710, 725, E10, and E15. And not a few years, 1 year later, 2024, it changed again to salary 501, goods service 502, public transfer 503, minor capital 504, and capital development 505. So if we want to analyze like the data for the past 10 years, we can do that, but it's going to take a few times for us because we have changes in the code in the past few years. So it's going to take a few times for us to do it. So basically, the chart of account there is in East Timor is very simple. It's not complicated, and the information we do previously. This one is example in objective code. We include asset, liability, equity, even though we practice cash-basis accounting, but we are heading towards there, so we have to anticipate so that we won't do a lot of changes in the near future. And for the future chart of account, as mentioned, we're stepping ahead accrual cash-based accounting practice with the support of developing and bilateral partners. So there's a possibility that probably it might change as well. So hopefully that change will not be much that would give us obstacle to do our historical data analysis. So I think This is the only presentation, so it's very simple, straightforward, not too complex. Thank you very much for your attention.